will attack with just these two. This is 4 more creatures attacking. They only have 3 blockers, and even if they blocked all 3 of them, they would be drained for another 6 points of damage because we have both Sephiroth and Vengeful Blood Witch. Hey there, neighbor, and welcome to another MTG Arena Standard video. Today's deck title is Sephiroth's Sac, because we are looking at Sephiroth, Fabled Soldier today, and today's deck is all about sacrifice effects. When we look at Sephiroth, he is a legendary creature, human avatar soldier. Whenever Sephiroth enters or attacks, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, draw a card. Whenever another creature dies, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. And then if this is the 4th time that this ability resolves this turn, we get to transform Sephiroth into Sephiroth One-Wing Angel. He has flying and the supernova ability. When he transforms, you get an emblem, which is just super powerful because there's no way of actually removing an emblem. And it says, whenever a creature dies, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. And then whenever Sephiroth attacks, you may sacrifice any number of other creatures. If you do, draw that many cards. So yeah, today it's all about the sacrifice effect. I'm not even sure how many times we'll actually be able to flip Sephiroth, because I've played this deck a little bit and testing it out, and this deck is just straight up nasty. It is cutting through the opponents like hot butter. I've played 4 matches just now. I won all 4 of them. I think maybe in one of them we flipped Sephiroth, but the game was basically over anyway. And it's just so powerful having that life drain, life gain ability, because it's not just linked to Sephiroth. We also have the Vengeful Blood Witch. This 2-mana creature also says, whenever this creature or another creature you control dies, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. We can combine that with the Funeral Room. Whenever a creature we control dies, target opponent loses 1 life, and we gain 1 life. So we have a lot of life drain, life gain going on. And we just also have so many creatures dying. Nesting Bot, if he dies, we get to create a servo token. The Forsaken Miner, if he dies, whenever we commit a crime, which we have a few ways of doing that, we can pay 1 and return him from the graveyard to the battlefield. The Infestation Sage, as well as the Linebreaker, both of them say when this creature dies, create a 1/1 token. Doesn't really matter what the token is. And then we have Voice of Victory from the Tarkir Dragonstorm set. I love this card. Opponents can't cast spells during your turn, which is just so nice. And he has the Mobilize 2 mechanic, where we create, when we attack with him, we create 2 attacking 1/1 tokens that get sacrificed at end of our turn. So that's another way that creatures get sacrificed. I've already been over the Vengeful Blood Witch. We have a Bartolome. This one, you can just sacrifice a creature whenever you want, which this is probably one of the best cards to combine with Sephiroth, just because you can sacrifice whenever you want. And when you do, you get to put a +1/+1 counter on Bartolome. And then the Judge Magister from the Final Fantasy set. Whenever another creature or artifacts we control dies, put a +1/+1 counter on him. And then finally, we have the Ruthless Lawbreaker, I wanted to say. The Ruthless Lawbreaker. When this creature enters, we may sacrifice another creature, and if we do, we get to destroy target non-land permanent. And again, since we have so many creatures dying, we are running 2 copies of Raise the Past. Return all creatures with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. So that is all of these creatures right here. I believe it's 8 in total. 8 out of our 10 creatures we can pull back from the graveyard. And I don't think it will happen. But if we do get the Funeral Room down on, this should go in the 3 mana slot, because we always play the Funeral Room first. Maybe, but like I said, I don't think it'll happen. If we can get up to 8 mana, we can unlock this room to get the Awakening Hall, and then we can return all creature cards from our graveyard to the battlefield. But like I said, I don't think it'll come to that, just because I have been absolutely slicing through our opponents with Sephiroth. This deck is Really, really good. I'm not sure it's an S tier deck, but like I said, I've been having a lot of fun with it. I've been winning quite a bit with it, and I think you guys probably would as well. And I'm guessing, like I said, I've never played Final Fantasy, but Sephiroth sounds kind of like a pretty bad dude. He has a super awesome looking sword. He turns into the one-winged angel. I don't know if that's a good side or a bad side, but let me know down in the comments, what's the lore behind Sephiroth? I'd love to know it. And with that said, let's just jump into some games. All right, guys, we go first. We do have 2 Sephiroths in our hands, so I will keep it. And then it doesn't really matter. We have no turn 1 play, but I think turn 2 we'll get down the Vengeful Blood Witch, and then turn 3 get down Sephiroth. And I mean, I hope to draw like a Voice of Victory or just another sacrifice outlet for us. Funeral Room is a really nice draw. Could potentially go with that one. Opponent goes with a Fear of Missing Out. It looks like they're playing the Una deck. I played one myself the other day. Yeah, we see they drop off a Bahamut. So, yeah, I think we'll go with Voice of Victory. And then no attacks from us. And then we will get down Sephiroth next turn. Bitter Reunion. What are they going to discard? It's an Overlord. And then no attacks from our opponent. We hit a land drop, which is nice, but like I said, we're still going to go with Sephiroth. We're not going to choose to sacrifice anyone right now. So decline. And then we will attack with Voice of Victory. I don't think they have any instant pump spells that they can do. So opponent down to 18. Another few creatures dying, and yeah, you can just see the double drain effect from Sephiroth in combination of Vengeful Blood Witch. Could pump that up even more with Funeral Room. Let's see what the opponent does. It is turn 4 for them. And they do have some really good reanimation targets in the graveyard, so I am a little tiny bit scared. I'm scared. They do hit their 4th land drop. It's another Bitter Reunion. Okay, that I like. Hopefully they don't have another pretty big creature to play this turn. A Summon Bahamut. Pretty nasty, but... Town Greeter. Alright, then the question is, do we get down Funeral Room? That will be a triple drain. Let's go for it. We can get down Funeral Room. We can get down the Judge. And then we're just going to full send it. We're going to decline that. They'll probably double block Sephiroth, I would imagine. But they're taking quite a bit of damage to the face then. All of these creatures die. And yeah, that is... quite a few more points of damage. They're down to 3. Ooh. I don't think it really matters what they bring back, because if they destroy... Yeah, they do have a Una. It's not going to have haste, though, and I think it only has lifelink on their turn, so... And they don't have the extra mana to pay with Bitter Reunion, so... Yeah, it doesn't matter what they destroy. I mean, I guess the Vengeful Blood Witch... That maybe would have been the correct play, but we can get down the Forsaken Miner, and then we can get down another Sephiroth. Let's just sacrifice the Forsaken Miner. He has Summoning Sickness, so he can't even attack right now. The opponent gets double drained right there, and we can do that one, and then we'll attack with just these 2. This is 4 more creatures attacking. They only have 3 blockers. And even if they blocked all 3 of them, they would be drained for another 6 points of damage, because we have both Sephiroth and Vengeful Vengeful Blood Witch. It's a tongue twister for me, but yeah, we just went too hard, too fast. Sephiroth's sac is just way faster than Yuna, Hope of Spira. They got her down on turn 5. They didn't really ramp up into her, which was lucky for us, even though they did put the best things in the graveyard for them to hit. But yeah, we still came out on top. Look at that, -8 already. So GG. All right, opponent goes first. I will keep this. I think I'm inclined to get Voice of Victory down on turn 2, but man, now it looks like the opponent might have a lot of... I mean, yeah, mono black, that does tell me that they are packing a ton of removal, so let's just get some creatures down right away. That is a defender. Go ahead and get down another guy, and we will get down Voice of Victory next turn. Say no attacks right there. I mean, if we do draw land, we might get down the Funeral Room first, which we do. Awesome. Well, no. Let's actually get down Voice of Victory. No attacks. And then next turn, we can get the Funeral Room down. Well, never mind. We're going to lose the Funeral Room. That is pretty unfortunate, but let us, for 3 mana... This defender is pretty annoying. We'll go ahead and sacrifice that one. And then we can go ahead and remove that one. And now we can go ahead and attack through. I think we'll get down the Judge next turn just because he synergizes really nicely with the mobilized tokens. And yeah, that was too much for the opponent. So another just really quick game. GG. All right, we got to go first. No black mana and just 1 land, so absolutely have to take a mulligan on that one, which is a feels bad moment, but this is a lot better. You can get Voice of Victory on turn 2 and then the Vengeful Blood Witch on turn 3. That one comes in tapped. Voice of Victory is so nice against Azorius decks. They want to hold up counter magic or kill our creatures on our turn. No, definitely not. Absolutely not. They might want to flash in some creatures. Yeah, they just get rid of it right now. So that's fine. We'll just get it down again. And then next turn, we'll play both of these guys out. All right, opponent, that I can't deny is pretty annoying, but we'll get down one of them. If they have a counter spell, that will suck, but I mean, look, they used 3 cards to deal with just one of our cards, and we actually have another one coming back next turn. And yeah, you can just see how much of a headache this card will be for them. So, I mean, now if they have a No More Lies, we can pay the 2. Yeah, see, and they just flash this fairy in, and they go for an opt right away. They just want to do everything on my turn. But this guy just says absolutely no. Absolutely not. And then we'll attack with this one. Get our speed up. Yes, opt on your turn. Yes, let's go. Get out of here with your Azorius flash deck, bounce deck. And yeah, Voice Victory coming in clutch. GG. All right, we get to go first. No white mana, but I'm inclined to keep it. I mean, if we hit a 3rd land drop, and even if it is a swamp, we can at least play Sephiroth on turn 3. Raise the Past, also really nice. We do need double white for that, though. Oh, we do hit a land. I think I'm going to go Voice of Victory first, just so that the opponent can't cast any spells on our turn. And then 2, 3. We'll be able to sacrifice 3 creatures this turn. Well, they might block. All right, yeah, we're going with this one. Sacrifice the Linebreaker. So that's 1 ping. Those 2 mobilized tokens are dying, so that's 2 more pings. If he blocks our creature, which he doesn't, that would have been the 4th one. So I think people are getting a little bit wise to this. But, I mean, yeah, the opponent's already down to 10 HP. It's turn 3. If he kills our creatures, he's just losing life. He can't cast any spells on our turn, thanks to Voice of Victory. Plays another one of those with Offspring. We hit a land drop, which is nice. I kind of wish it was a white source just so we could go with Raise the Past, but we'll go ahead, sacrifice the Forsaken Miner. Gonna go ahead and blow up this creature right here. And we don't have any black mana, so that's 1 ping. That's just +1. I'm just going to attack with everyone. I mean, he can choose to block Sephiroth. We are going to sacrifice, I guess this guy is not doing much for us. Another Raise the Past. We really don't need that one right now. And yeah, opponent just gives it up. This is just too much damage too quickly. Just absolutely draining them out. And we only did that with 1 drain creature. We didn't have our Blood Witch or the whatever it's called. But yeah, opponent down to 7, 2, 4. We have 6 attacking creatures. He has to block this one. And then he's taking 5 damage at least if he doesn't choose to block another one. I mean, he could double block Sephiroth and he would die right there. But yeah, we got them. Just absolutely cooked this guy. Roasted and toasted. GG. All right, we get to go first, which is really nice. We have a bunch of 2-drops, so it doesn't really matter. I think we'll get out the Vengeful Blood Witch. Opponent with a Sleight of Hand right away, so they could be an Is It Cutter deck. Could be an Omniscience deck. But that does say at the bottom of the library. It doesn't say put it into the graveyard. So, yeah, part of me, I do want to get the Funeral Room out, but we'll try the Judge. And if he gets countered, we can at least play him next turn. Which it does look like there's a counter spell. Essence Scatter, counter target creature spell specifically, so. Yeah, like I said, next turn we'll just try and get him down again. This could be a Haughty Djinn type of deck. I think they have a few flash creatures, which we need to worry a little bit about. Opponent does hold open counter magic, so we'll try a Judge again. This one does stick. Now we can get out the Line Breaker. That one also hits the battlefield. And yeah, I'm pretty sure they do have a flash creature, so let's just go with the Forsaken Miner. And the opponent might look to draw some cards this turn. Indeed, it's a Deduce. So they've put quite a few things in the graveyard. Do we see a Haughty Djinn come down? There could also be the Terror. Valerian Terror, I think it's called. Opponent's thinking about it. And they do get down a Haughty Djinn. I know it looks like they just have 1 mana open, but they for sure can play a few other things. Because Haughty Djinn does give a discount. So I think we'll attack with these 3. See which one the opponent wants to block. If they even do want to block, they do. So we can go ahead and sacrifice this guy to start growing Bartolome, sorry. Drain the opponent for 1. And then smack them for 5. So they are down to 11. They cast an Opt on their turn. So 5 toughness, haughty Jin. I think they need another creature on the battlefield. I think they definitely need another creature. And they play one. The Shoreless Sea. So now his spells are heavily discounted. But, ooh, another Vengeful Blood Witch is nice. Oh, man, this land drop is kind of annoying. You know what? I think we're actually just going to go with this one. Let's just create some creatures that we can sacrifice. And then we'll attack with all of these guys. Oh, activate only as a sorcery. I should have maybe done that just to give Bartolome or the Judge an extra +1. So yeah, we'll attack with all these guys. We get to create 2 more tokens that will get sacrificed. And I think what we can actually do, we're going to sacrifice this token. Can we grow this guy up to 9? I don't think so. So I think let's just sacrifice 1 more token. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I think I will sacrifice the Forsaken Miner. Yes. All right, yeah. Well, I mean, he was double blocking, so it wouldn't matter. So I guess maybe I wouldn't sacrifice the Forsaken Miner, but yeah, look, that's 7 damage getting through right there. Yeah, I think we had the opponent. If they didn't have a bounce spell, I should have let this guy go through because the Judge, there's no way he's surviving, but he is dying this turn, so that's another creature dying, so they'd lose another life off of that, so he's going down to 8. And then we're punching the opponent for 7 right there. I guess I could sacrifice this mercenary just to grow Bartolome as well, get another drain counter, and then do another extra damage to the opponent as well. So yeah, we absolutely cooked this guy. GG. All right, we get to go first. Really nice hand. 1 drop, 2 drop, and then a double drop on turn 3, which is really nice. See, blue mana, so Voice of Victory, chef's kiss. Absolutely chef's kiss. You know they want to do everything on our turn. We see it right there with the bounce off, so you absolutely love to see that. No more instants for you, even though they do drop a green on us. But yeah, we'll still go with the plan of Voice of Victory into, let's just get the Infestation Sage down again. No need to show them the line breaker. Bushwhack to search for a land. That one did enter this turn, so that is just for next turn. And when they pass it over to us, well, never mind. I was going to say they can't do anything, but yeah, they still can't do anything. And like I said, they slowed us down a little bit, but I'm pretty sure they don't want to be using these cards right now on these creatures, so cash grab. So it is this town ain't big enough. One of my absolutely most hated cards. I absolutely despise this card, and we did see that they milled 3 into the Flood Maw. That you love to see. And yeah, we'll just get down another Voice of Victory, and let's just get down another Infestation Sage. Look at that nice symmetry right there. Go ahead and smack the opponent for 4 damage. And yeah, we just need to find one of our draining effects. I mean, ideally it's Sephiroth, but the Funeral Room or the Vengeful Blood Witch would do us equally as good. They hit us with the Up the Beanstalk. And it is this crab. Does it come in tapped right now? It doesn't. They get to tap 2 creatures. It's going to be those 2. It's the Forsaken Miner. So yeah, we will just play out our hand. And then with the Infestation Sages, we will attack. And like I said, I kind of wish we had a drain effect right now. Kind of wish we had a drain effect. We will need to look for one of those. But we can at least start growing Bartolome. Smack the opponent for 1, so they are down to 15. We do have a pretty nice board built up. They do play a terror that also triggers the up the beanstalk. So opponent does have some pretty beefy creatures in front of us. And yeah, we really need to find one of our sacrifice outlets. We have quite a few of them. 4 Sephiroth, 4 Vengeful Blood Witch, and I think 2 or 3. Bartolome is legendary. You know, I'm gonna full send it. Full send it. 2, 4. They do want to get rid of both Voice of Victories. I already kind of thought that. I will go ahead and sacrifice one of them right now. I think if I sacrifice the other one, we won't have any on the battlefield, so then they might be able to bounce stuff, so we're just going to let it go like that. So yeah, opponent down to 2. Opponent down to 2. We have a flyer that can go over the top. We do have a flyer that can go over the top. And like I said, if we find one of our sacrifice outlets, then I think we can get the opponent. They might want to bounce a few things right now. They're going to exile a card from a graveyard and draw a card right now. They do need another creature. They did mill 3 into the Flood Maws. I mean, I guess they can also cast this town a big enough at instant speed, which is very frustrating, but 2 blockers. One of them's going over the top. We do see an Otter, so they have 3 blockers right now. They hovered over our Forsaken Miner. He gets to come back to the battlefield if we commit a crime, which we can, again, only do if we have one of our sacrifice outlets. And then we do have to pay 1 black mana, but that is a way to, you know, kind of keep this guy coming back to the graveyard. And yeah, opponent's really thinking about it. They have 4 cards in hand. I'm really hoping they don't have too many more of these bounce spells. They do play another crab, and so they are all out of blue mana, and they give up. Let's absolutely go. I absolutely despise decks like this, and it feels so good to clap them. Get out of here with your crab and your terror. GG. All right, guys, we got to go first. Really nice hand. We also have a Raise the Past. I think it's maybe come into play once. Oh, and we find a Vengeful Blood Witch. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, we see a green land, though. If it's the Hydra deck, yeah, they're just going to absolutely run over us. So, yeah, Vengeful Blood Witch into a Sephiroth, into these 2 creatures. Could also get these 2 down next turn, and then Sephiroth on the turn after. Is that better sequencing? Yeah, it is a Bristly Bill. Another Sephiroth. I think we'll get him down then, since we did draw another one. Don't need to sacrifice anyone. Say no attacks. Oh, there's a Tifa, yeah. I think they're just gonna roll over us. They even have a double land. Not sure why they played that one right now. Maybe they have another crack land next turn. That would be kind of crazy. Do we double block? I think we do. I think we can double block this guy. They still have 1 mana open with their elf, though. They didn't have anything, though. Otherwise, I think they would have saved the Bristly Bill. And we do get to drain them for 4, so that is quite nice. We gain 4 life ourselves. So I think we get down Voice of Victory and the Forsaken Miner. And then, honestly, hopefully we draw a land. Could attack with everyone and then hit them with the Raise the Past. Would potentially bring back 3 creatures. Opponent looking to play some pump spells first, probably. Yeah, so they're mono green Tifa. I played a Gruul Tifa deck the other day myself where you can, win on turn 3 if you have the nuts. This version might be a little bit better than the one I made. Yeah, there's that Ordeal of Nylea. All right, so we missed a land drop. That is a little bit unfortunate. I think we will attack the opponent, create some tokens. And then I think we flash in Sephiroth. And then I will sacrifice the miner. Oh, we drew a card. They're going to get drained for 2 more. And yeah, we don't have any black mana to pay. So we're up to 27. So hopefully they can't one-shot us. They need to get Tifa up to 9. I mean, she could have 2 lands enter and another 2 from a crack land. So that might actually be able to get there. I think she just needs 1 more counter then. And yeah, I kind of hope we find a land just so we can hit them with the Raise the Past. I know we'd only be getting 2 creatures back, but search your library for a land card, reveal it, and put it onto the battlefield tapped. That says land card, so they can definitely get one of the crack lands. Wait, does it say basic? Creature or land card? I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure they could find an escape tunnel, for instance. And they go with a chocobo. Oh, and they hold back. We miss a land drop, though. If we go with the funeral room, do we just get them if we play the funeral room? I think we do. The math is for blockers. I'm not even going to do the math right now. We're not going to sacrifice anyone right now. They're going to get drained for 4. Oh, they absolutely had to block. I don't know why they didn't. Yeah, because they're losing 2 more creatures right here. And Sephiroth and the funeral room gets all the triggers from that. So, GG, opponent. And yeah, unfortunately, we missed a land drop. But yeah, that funeral room coming in really clutch right there as well. So, yeah, GG. All right, we get to go first 1 drop into 2 drop. You love to see that. This dude's name is Let's Waste Time. I thought he was going to let the rope go down right away. So he's already not living up to his name. Do see white. Get down the Voice of Victory. And then we can get down the Vengeful Blood Witch next turn. Could be life gain. It's just a get loss, so maybe more a white control type of build. We'll get down these shadowy back streets. I'll keep that guy on top. Get this one down. Smack the opponent for 2. See a Fountain Port into a Carrot Cake, so tokens deck probably. That's what it looks like. And yeah, we can get down this guy. And then we can put a counter on our Vengeful Blood Witch. Ooh, that's nice. That triggers. I will keep the Ruthless Lawbreaker. I will keep that guy. So if they do play a Caretaker's Talent, we can at least blow it up next turn. Smack the opponent for 5. I guess they do block right there, so. Could hit us with the board wipe. They do have 4 mana, Day of Judgment. It's a Beza, so they're going to gain some life, create some tokens. But like I said, we are just going to blow up that Beza right now. All of these guys get to grow, which is really nice. Blow this one up. And we actually can go ahead and pay 1 just to bring the miner back right away. So, yeah, it's like nothing happened. And then it's at least 3 damage getting through. If they want to double block the judge. Again, this is it looks like mono white control build with fountain port. I would not be surprised if they had a split up. Kind of crazy that they didn't double block. I don't know if they maybe have a sunfall. Damn, rest in peace gets rid of our graveyard. That does suck, but does that stop death triggers as well? I wonder. Let's just go with this one. This just says when another creature dies, but I don't know if a creature dying or not means that it has to go to the graveyard. I guess we'll find out. Get to create 2 warrior tokens. They might have a get lost. No, they just gain 3 life. They do get to create a little rabbit. They scry to the bottom, so they don't like what they see. So they're down to 6. Let's see if this, oh man, the rest in peace shuts off our death triggers. That really sucks. Damn, that kind of hard counters our entire deck. And yeah, there is a split up. We knew they had that, but man, we destroy land. That sucks. At least this Dalkovan Encampment might help us out a lot. Dalkovan Encampment, it's the encampment. Damn, that rest in peace, so annoying. So frustrating. They are hovering over our land. Opponent's thinking about it. Guess he is living up to his name a little bit. Let's waste time. He just passes the turn. It's a Forsaken Miner. We'll play that on his end step. So we do get to create 2 tokens. They're going to create a fish token. They pay 1 life for that, and they're still going to take 2 life. So they're down to 3. They are missing land drops, so that does suck for them. Soul Guide Lantern. They really, really don't want any graveyard stuff happening. They do that to draw a card, though, so they're really hurting for lands. They do find a 3rd land drop. We find a Voice of Victory, which is amazing, because if this comes down, then they can't do anything on our turn. So, yeah, that's a win for us. Let's go. I love Voice of Victory. Yeah, I kind of wish we could see what's in his hand, but like I said, if he had removal, he absolutely had to play it to get rid of the Forsaken Miner, because I've made this mistake in the past. If you have no creatures attacking, you don't actually get the 2 tokens from the encampment, because it says whenever you attack, and you need at least 1 creature attacking. So, yeah, I think he maybe forgot the rule text on Voice of Victory, but yeah, I absolutely love Voice of Victory, and man, rest in peace. I played it maybe a week ago at this point in my equipment deck. It shuts down so many graveyard strategies. People just trying to abuse graveyard, try and reanimate the biggest stuff. But it also completely shuts down our entire strategy, because a creature dying means that it has to go to the graveyard. If it goes into the exile zone, you don't get the triggers off of Vengeful Blood Witch, or I guess, if you extend it then for Sephiroth and the funeral room or funeral chamber, whatever it's called. So, hey, we got there in the end. Had to kind of grind it out, but GG. Hey there, neighbor, and welcome to the post-game wrap after looking at Sephiroth's sac. Pause on that real quick. We're looking at the sacrifice mechanic of Sephiroth. Whenever he enters or attacks, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, draw a card. And whenever another creature dies, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. If this is the 4th time that it triggers in a single turn, you get to transform Sephiroth into the one-winged angel, where you basically get an emblem that says whenever another creature dies, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. So yeah, the entire deck is built around just sacrifice mechanics, just so we can drain the opponent for 1 and gain 1 life ourselves. And I know it doesn't sound like that much, especially when you're sacrificing creatures. You know, you might think like, well, you kind of lose those creatures then. But we have so many creatures: Nesting Bot, Forsaken Miner, Infestation Sage, and the Linebreaker, that when they die, they create a token. Forsaken Miner doesn't, but if you commit a crime, you can pay 1 black mana to bring him back from the graveyard and put him onto the battlefield, which is really nice. And then on top of that, we have Voice of Victory. Whenever you attack with him, you get to create 2 mobilized tokens that get sacrificed at their end step. And it also came up today, this Dalkovan Encampment. I think we used it, I think it was in 2 games. I know in 1 game for sure we did. It was the last game that you guys just saw, but it may have been in another game from yesterday as well, where whenever you attack with a creature, and you do need at least 1 creature on the board attacking for you to create these 2 tapped and attacking warrior tokens that, again, get sacrificed at their end step. So those are all ways that, yeah, you can sacrifice a creature, drain the opponent for 1, gain 1 life yourself, and these creatures kind of replace themselves anyway. If you combined Sephiroth with the Vengeful Blood Witch, he has that exact same text. Whenever another creature dies, target opponent loses 1 life, so that's another way to drain them out. And then finally, we are running 3 copies of the Funeral Room. Whenever a creature we control dies, each opponent loses 1 life and we gain 1 life. So I'm telling you guys, you probably saw it from some of the games as well, if you have Sephiroth and either the Funeral Room or the Vengeful Blood Witch, and you just attack in, and you know, a lot of your creatures will die just because a lot of them are just 1/1s, then yeah, you're draining the opponent just so quickly. It's kind of insane. And then on top of that, we have Bartolome. He can just sacrifice another creature at any time, which is really, really nice. So that could be a way that you can trigger Sephiroth 4 times on 1 turn. If you have 4 creatures to sacrifice, you can do that, which is really nice. And then the Judge, he says whenever another creature or artifact dies, we get to put a +1/+1 counter on him. I think that came up in 1 game where he put in quite a bit of work for us. And then we also have the Ruthless Lawbringer. I think I called him the Ruthless Lawbreaker, maybe when I was playing with him. But hey, when he enters, you can choose to sacrifice a creature, and then if you do, you get to basically destroy anything that the opponent has, any non-land permanent. So that also very useful, very versatile. And again, if you sacrifice one of these 1-drop creatures, they will replace themselves. If you have Vengeful Blood Witch on the battlefield or Sephiroth, you're also draining the opponent for 1. So yeah, this deck just works so well. And then maybe you have sacrificed a lot of your creatures, maybe the opponent's blocked a few of your creatures as well, just to stop the damage from going through. We do also have Raise the Past. For 4 mana, you get to return all creature cards with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard. So unfortunately, it would not bring back a Sephiroth or the Ruthless Lawbringer, but you would get back every other of these 1 and 2 drops, which is just really, really nice. So yeah, this deck, I think it might be tier 1. It's really good deck. You guys could probably, you know, change out 1 or 2 things yourself as well. I don't know if you really need the Funeral Room. I don't think we ever got to the Awakening Hall side of things, where for 8 mana, you can unlock the Funeral Room. You get the Awakening Hall where you can return all creature cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. So then if you do have a Sephiroth or the Ruthless Lawbringer, you would also bring them back as well. So yeah, you can maybe throw in 1 or 2, you know, different cards that you think might work better in the deck. We have essentially no removal. I know that this guy acts as a little bit of removal just because our game plan is to really just drain the opponent out, and we can do that really, really quickly. So Sephiroth, I'm loving this guy. Really, really good card. In combination with the Vengeful Blood Witch, really, really good. And then honestly, the Voice of Victory, I think we saw in a few games, just being able to stop the opponent from casting spells on our turn is just so, so nice. I love that, especially when you play against a blue deck. You play Voice of Victory and you just see them, hover over him multiple times because they can't cast any instances, which is just another really, really good feeling as well. So, yeah, that's more or less the deck. It's really simple. It's quite effective at what it does. I will say, though, if you don't have Sephiroth and you don't find Vengeful Blood Witch, Funeral Room is 3 mana, so it does take a few turns to get there, and we are only running 3 of them. If you don't find any of these cards, the deck can be a little bit weak. You can, of course, grow Bartolome and the Judge if you're sacrificing a lot of these creatures, but yeah, that I will say that might be its biggest weakness is, maybe if you're playing against a, mono black all removal, the Is It Cutter deck can go pretty fast as well. And I've played against so many landfall decks lately, and that one's a toss up. Sometimes you beat them just because you can out aggro them. But yeah, sometimes they get Tifa or the Hydra up to like 32 power, and it doesn't matter if you block with 3 or 4 creatures. You just die that way as well. So against some of those matchups, it can be kind of difficult, again, if you don't find these creatures or the Funeral Room. So that can be a little bit rough sometimes. But yeah, if you do find Sephiroth, I think that hand is an instant keep. And I mean, he's just so impactful when he's on the battlefield. So yeah, overall, I really like this deck. It does really, really well. But I've been rambling on long enough. I'm going to end it like I always end it. I love you guys. Peace out.